Ron Bonjean, former communication strategist for Justice Neil Gorsuch during his nomination hearings. Ron, we just heard Edward mention this letter that Judge Kavanaugh put out. I just want to read a part of it because it gets to the heart of the question of his own reputation. He says, "I continue to want a hearing as soon as possible so that I can clear my name. Since the moment I first heard this allegation, I've categorically and unequivocally denied it. I remain committed to defending my integrity." I mean, this is a guy with a spotless reputation. Yes. Can he ever get that back?
I certainly think he can. And, you know, he does still carry a tremendous amount of respect. And when he's confirmed to the Supreme Court, he'll start doing great work. And you'll start seeing it in his legal opinions. I think one of the biggest things that he can use to his advantage is time. Unfortunately, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen over time. We saw that with Clarence Thomas. He is widely respected.
But let me just focus on Justice Thomas for a second, because a lot of people say since Anita Hill had an FBI investigation look into her charges, we should do the same here. Bottom line is there was an FBI investigation of Anita Hill, and her claims were found to be, and I'm quoting now, without foundation. So her claims were without foundation, but the taint of the Anita Hill hearings stay with him to this day. I mean, a lot of, perhaps you and others would say that he is without blame in that incident, but a lot of other people think otherwise. So it's going to be hard, no matter what happens, for Judge Kavanaugh to escape what's happened here.
Well, I think one of the things is, though, if Ford does testify that, and she does not give a compelling, she does not deliver compelling appearance, and that there is holes in her testimony, that will also help on the reputation front. Absolutely. I mean, this is a jump ball, though. We don't know where it's going if it actually happens. Right. I kind of tended to think that because there's complete delay on agreeing to do this, and that we're almost at the end of the day where we're supposed to know whether or not she's going to do it. It just feels like delay after delay. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Well, even if it doesn't happen, or whether it does, if Judge Kavanaugh becomes Justice Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court, now you have op-eds in the New York Times and elsewhere by Democrats talking about impeaching Justice Kavanaugh if he does get confirmed. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that would just fire up the conservative base big time, and that could be used. Conservative voters wouldn't like that, and they'd be pretty fired up going into the November elections, that's for sure. Look, once he's on the Supreme Court, it's going to be very difficult to get him out of there. And, you know, there could be another opening on the court sometime in the near future. So I think that's a lot of happy talk. Yeah. And you'd really have to have conclusive evidence in order to get that. Plus, you'd have to get that through. Through Congress, and I just can't see that happening.
Ron, finally, we got to make this quick, but a lot of people suspect that Democrats are just trying to delay the process till after the election, when they hope to take over the Senate, and then they could essentially block any nominee for the next 2 years. How long, if Judge Kavanaugh withdraws or does not succeed in becoming a justice, how long would it take for a new nominee to be confirmed?
Well, first of all, I agree that this smacks of politics, and it's no question the Democrats are trying to delay it, and that's why, you know, Ford has a Democratic operative helping her, and every day that goes by is a day that helps the Democratic Party.
But how long would it take to confirm another nominee if Kavanaugh withdraws? Would it be after the election?
Yeah. No, it would be after the election.
Okay.
Justice Gorsuch took 67 days. This has taken a couple of months. For Kavanaugh,
gotcha.
That's about the average, is about,
Ron Bonjean,
60 days.
Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You too.